Welcome to the Context Machine, episode 604. I'm your co-host, Mildred Agnew.
And I'm Mildred's cousin, Spiro. It's Stout Month, everyone. Go have a drink responsibly. No, really, it is Stout Month. It's February.
Okay, all right, that's good. That's good. It's Black History Month, too.
Yes.
It's awesome. Please, let's see. No, you're Jeff Gamet, right? Context
you're
Machine.
Bryan Chaffin.
And I'm Bryan Chaffin. Contextmachine.io. That's our site.
Yep.
And you can
Why
find
did
us
you
on...
even bother writing an intro script today?
I don't even know. And we're on Post and Mastodon at Context Machine.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Let's see here. We got another hate review, which is nice. Go leave us reviews.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Yep. Thanks for listening. And if you love us, if you hate us, leave a review because it's going to help somebody, whether or not you like us or you don't. So, yeah, definitely go leave us a review. Apple Podcasts, any podcasting. Are we on Spotify? I have no idea.
Yeah, Spotify, they have access to all the podcasts too, because that's how podcasts work.
And it's yeah, because Backbeat's helping us distribute those.
Yeah. There's some swell people at Backbeat.
Yeah. Oh, look at that Context Machine. Nope. That is apparently there's a song called The Context Machine.
Someone wrote a song about us?
I don't think it's about us, by a fellow named Jake Pavey. Context Machine podcast, Spotify. Yep, there we are. No, Apple Podcast. That's contextmachine.io.
This is riveting content.
Yeah, I know. Here. I don't think we're on Spotify, man.
Oh.
We should probably check in.
Screw those guys.
We should check into that. Rightio. So this week, Jeff.
Bryan.
You got, if I understand correctly, and I wasn't paying attention when you were telling me about this before, so I may have all of the details wrong, but I believe you got a new MacBook Pro and then had some adventures setting it up.
I did.
Okay, yes. I'm going to mute and do some other things. So why don't you tell us all about that?
All right. So I'm sure everyone remembers the episode just a few weeks ago where Bryan and I talked about my dilemma of needing.
Yeah, I think it was 2 shows ago.
Okay. I guess it wasn't that long ago. It's time flies anymore, you know? Get off my lawn.
It might have been last week's show. But whatever, it was really? Recent. Yeah, it was pretty recent.
No. There was at least one show in between because I remember talking about how people were yelling at their podcast player apps.
Oh, right,
saying
right.
Which computer I should buy.
Then maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Regardless, we did a show. We talked about it. You ended up getting it. You ended up choosing the MacBook Pro, but you had some curious adventures setting it up, and that was the interesting part.
Yes. All right. So before I get into the interesting part, because I'm sure everyone wants to know, did I listen to what you were saying, MacBook Air versus MacBook Pro? I ended up getting the 14-inch M2 Pro 12-core MacBook Pro.
Good call.
With 16 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. And
you ordered this and had it couriered to your house?
No, I ordered it for in-store pickup, and
okay, so I did know that, but my question to you is, how many of your choices were ended up? I know that you told us that you were going to base your eventual buying decision on what you could actually walk out of the store with.
I could have walked out with any of the computers that I wanted.
Excellent. So the Air, the Pro, as much memory, as much storage, whichever processor configuration you had chosen.
Yeah, if I wanted more than 16 gigs of RAM, then I needed to go with the MacBook Air. They had the 24 gig in store. So anyhow, ended up with that, with a 14-inch 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and the 12 core M2 Pro.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Does it feel incredibly fast compared to what you had?
Yes, but for most things, everything was fast enough before that you just can't tell.
Well,
like when I'm typing, am I going to be able to tell the computer's faster? But things like the computer booting, window redraws, the big place where I've seen the speed improvement, where it's like super obvious, is with Zoom. So I think everyone knows that on Thursdays I host the Big Show, and Fridays I host the Mac Show.
Wait, you have
live video streams on
you
British
have
Tech
another
Network.
show other than this one?
Brian,
I feel so dirty.
I thought you knew we were in a poly podcast relationship.
I did. You should mention that. You should mention that more often here. Do you mention us on those shows? I don't listen.
I do.
I
talk about how I do the context machine with that Brian Chaffin.
Yeah. Okay. But that's fair. You should, I would like for you to give a cross shout out here more often.
Okay. Well, Thursdays you can watch me live posting the Big Show on the British Tech Network.
Excellent.
And then on Fridays you can watch me hosting live the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. So the way it works is I'm doing all that in Zoom, and I'm recording the Zoom call. So when everything's done, you have to wait for the Zoom file to finish processing, and then you have your recording. Mm-hmm. And on my 16-inch Intel MacBook Pro, to render an hour of video, it would take like I don't know. It was, relatively speaking, pretty fast. It was like 5 minutes, maybe tops.
Okay.
And so I wasn't expecting to see that much of a performance improvement for the rendering. No, it's less than a minute.
Wow.
To render that hour of video.
That is substantially faster. I have long ago, many new machines ago, I realized that if you really want to notice how much faster your new machine is, go back to the old one for a few minutes. That's when the speed difference is like when you first make the switch over, it might feel a little bit faster, but it just so quickly becomes the new normal that you don't think about it. But if you do, if you want to really like, oh my God, it really is tons faster, go back to the old machine, which, isn't always possible.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's possible, it is actually really, really interesting to see how the things that felt normal and were totally acceptable to you on the old machine, suddenly it's like, this is awful. I want to burn the machine. It's too slow. Yeah. So Brian, you said that I did have a few troubles with my migration to my new machine.
What? Yeah. So what happened?
All right. So, well, the first part of the migration, turns out, where I had the problem, it wasn't Apple's fault. So what I decided to do so that I could like maximize how I was using my time, I decided to use my time machine backup and migrate my data over to the new machine from that. And then I could just be working on other things while this computer is dedicated doing its one thing. And the process of getting my computer to boot with my time machine drive, I mean, it was like 5 minutes just to get the machine to boot up with the drive attached so that I could select time machine, then choose my data, and then start the process. And I just let it run overnight. It was like insanely slow. Well, it turns out my time machine was ready to die completely. Oh. And bless that little soldier's heart, it lasted long enough for me to migrate the data out of that drive and onto the new computer. And my replacement Time Machine drive will show up tomorrow as we record.
Cool. What did you lose? Are you backing up now?
I didn't lose any data. It was just stupid slow.
Are you backing up now?
I am. Okay, so I have this multi-level backup process. Time Machine is my just throughout the day stuff is happening. So if I need to jump back to a file real quick, or I delete the wrong thing, it's just right there. Just grab it out of Time Machine and I'm fine. Then I have a nightly backup that goes to my Synology. And then I'm also using Backblaze. So I have my continuous Backblaze backup happening offsite. And then I use Carbon Copy Cloner so that every Sunday night I'm imaging my my drive to another drive. Because I'm kind of freaked out about the potential of losing some important piece of data.
Sure.
But this is where one of my first problems came in. And it's that I'm having a problem with SuperDuper, which is what I use from the nightly backup to my Synology. And it is, my Mac is giving me an error saying that SuperDuper appears to be damaged and needs to be thrown out.
Mm.
So my nightly backup is not happening right now. My Time Machine backup isn't happening until tomorrow. So I'm kind of freaking out. But Backblaze, oh my God, I love Backblaze. So what I did once I had my new computer up and running, I installed Backblaze and said I want to inherit the backup I already have because I'm just moving to a new computer. I don't need to start over with a brand new backup. And it was like, fine. And so I have my backup running and I have Backblaze doing its thing all the time, every day. So I'm fine there. And then for Sunday evening, Carbon Copy Cloner will fire up and it will do its weekly backup. So the problem that I'm having with SuperDuper, this is a known issue and there are workarounds to fix it. And so once I get that sorted out, then my SuperDuper backup will start happening again. The other problem that I had, and keep in mind, I moved just data because I went from an Intel Mac to an M2 Apple Silicon Mac.
Okay.
Moving over all my applications probably would have been fine, but I didn't want to risk having any weird problems. So I chose to reinstall the applications that I use so that I would be certain I was getting the version of the app that would run on an Apple Silicon chip as opposed to the one that would require Rosetta to run on an Intel chip.
Oh my God. I would I would never bother with that. I'm going to wait until I need the app and then open it and then freak out because I have to update it or something. I can't believe you proactively did all that.
I'm weird like that. So anyhow, because I did that, I think that it added a little bit of extra work on my part because I had to go and make sure that I was installing all these apps and stuff. It all went really smoothly. And
that's good.
Where I did run into a problem that I just simply can't work around. And I'm very disappointed about this. I've been using a Wacom Intuos for tablet.
Yeah.
As my graphics tablet. And now, granted, this is old. This tablet has been around for years, but it's a solid workhorse and it works beautifully. I can't use it with my new computer because the version of the driver that Wacom makes that supports this tablet, it doesn't work on my computer.
And it's an older one, right?
Yeah, it's an older one. So the version of the driver that properly supports the Apple Silicon computers does not support my tablet. Now, I did try installing the older version of the driver, and it would install. It still wouldn't talk to my tablet, and it completely screwed up all my input devices. So I had to. So I uninstalled that very quickly.
Sure.
So my Wacom tablet does not work. So I currently don't have a graphics tablet. The workaround for that, which was some people don't even see as a workaround, it's just like the new solution, is using my iPad Pro with Apple Pencil.
Yeah.
And that works. I mean, there are certain things about having a dedicated graphics tablet that are really nice.
Of course.
And so I may at some point replace my Wacom tablet with another dedicated graphics tablet.
I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just bear with me. Because I think it might work. What if you launched an OnlyFans page so that you could get a new Wacom tablet?
I'm already coming up with catchphrases that will draw people in, and we will have to change the rating on our show for me to start telling you what some of these ideas are.
Well, I could just beep them all out. Please don't. I gave myself a lot of work last week.
Yeah. But I love this idea, and
it's a great idea. You should love it.
Yeah, people, how much would you be willing to pay to see me do and show things?
Whatever.
On OnlyFans?
Whatever you want.
I'm going to make so many pennies.
All right. So are you going to get a new Wacom tablet? Or are you going to keep using your iPad?
I'll use my iPad for now.
Is this a cost issue, or is this something that you sort of had in the back of your mind for a long time? I don't know how many of our listeners have a graphics tablet. I don't know. I don't know how relevant that is for a lot of people, but I think understanding your thought process here would be helpful.
Oh, sure. Okay. So the reason I didn't immediately buy a new tablet was because I want to really think about how I'm using the tablet and what would be the best for me to get if I choose to get one. Should I get another product in the Intuos line, which, it's just a tablet? And when I say just a tablet, I mean, it's not a display. Do I need something from the Cintiq line, which is a tablet with a display built in? And then there's different sizes and all these different options. What's best for me? And if it turns out the answer is that using my iPad Pro with my Apple Pencil 2 is the best option, okay, then I'm set. But I want to do some more research and really think about what's the right thing. And
how many iPads do you have?
I have my 12.9 inch. Which is the one that uses Apple Pencil 2. I have my old 10-inch iPad Pro, which here's a frustration point for me. The battery's so shot in that, but it's not shot enough that Apple will replace it for me. So I have to wait for my 10-inch to have the battery get
careful.
Even worse.
Don't give me any beeps.
I almost gave you an edit point. Anyhow, so I have two iPad Pros. I have the nice.
So when I use one of those
10-inch
and make that your dedicated, since you own it. I mean, sorry, Wacom, I'm not trying to take away a sale from you here.
Well, it's an option. It wouldn't be a dedicated thing because I can do so many things with an iPad. So why would I just dedicate it to being only a graphics tablet?
Because you have two in the first place. Do you actively use them both?
Well, I did until the battery completely took a dirt nap in the 10-inch model.
There you go. So why not stick one of those paper surface things on it and make
I have one of those on my 12.9 inch.
Would you use that one for your tablet or your 10-inch?
Honestly, if I was going to use either of them as a primary graphics tablet, it would be the 12.9 inch because it's a bigger display and uses Apple Pencil 2. But then I'd still use it for other things because it's my 12.9-inch iPad.
Got it. Right.
Yeah. So my big problems have been.
These are good problems to have. A lot of folks don't have these problems.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, but too. So a graphics tablet, you're using a graphics tablet, and I'm assuming when you would use your Wacom tablet that you would be stylusing on the tablet while looking at your display.
Right. And see, this is why I have to think about, do I want a dedicated tablet that's like my Intuos, where I'm drawing on the tablet but looking at my computer display? Do I want something that's like the iPad Pro, or a Cintiq tablet where the display is built into the drawing surface?
Or again, your iPad, because I mean, there's what you're used to, which has utility value that's going to be individual to every person, right? Like, how much do you want to change what you do? Like, you know, if you like not looking at the tablet while you're drawing, and that's your workflow, and you know that's what you're used to, and that's what you want to do. I get it, but isn't being able to stylus directly onto the surface that you're manipulating, isn't that not better? Isn't that better?
There's a lot of value in being able to do that. Here's the thing. The stylus that I used with my Intuos 4 tablet, even though it's years and years old, I have more control over what I do with that stylus than I have with the Apple Pencil 2 stylus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and that's saying a lot, because the Apple Pencil 2 stylus, you have so much control. I mean, it is a really good stylus.
I mean, what Wacom was doing was incredible and incredibly important when they were doing it. And I feel like at this point, they're under a lot of competitive pressure from iPads as iPads.
You haven't taken a look at what
that is correct. I am definitely
tablets.
Speaking out of my the ether.
But I mean, what you're saying, there's some validity to it, because there's so much that you can do with an iPad as a graphics tablet replacement. And yet, if you look at what you can do with a Cintiq tablet, these are tablets that are designed specifically for their function, which is to be a very high-end professional graphics tablet tool. And there are, for the people that need the features, some definite benefits to using a product like that. Now, that said, how many thousands of dollars do you want to spend on a graphics tablet?
Well, if you're
spend a lot more on a Cintiq than an iPad Pro if you want.
If you're a graphics pro, that you know, that's how you're making your living. That's probably not even a calculation you need to bother to make.
Right.
If you need it, you need it, I guess is my point.
Right. If you need it. Yep. So, you know, I'm doing some research, and I'm thinking about how I'm really have been using my Wacom tablet that I can't use anymore, and deciding what is the best path for me. And it may very well be that the best path is just my iPad Pro. And if that's the case, great. I already have what I need right here.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll get that sorted out. I will get the workaround, fix whatever it is for Super Duper taken care of, and then I'm basically set. Everything else that I need is working as it should. The whole process has been incredibly smooth. And,
wait a minute! You gave me 2 days of reports of problems and hassle.
Oh wait, am I already
yes,
going through the process of trying to cope with what I experienced?
Yes, you are. You seriously gave me. I mean, you were not a complainer. Listen, folks, I know how to whine. If you haven't picked up on that, all by yourselves. Jeff is not a complainer. He will tell a story if he's asked to, but he's not a complainer. He gave me 2 days of mostly iMessage reports of surprise problems that he was having with this transition process.
Oh, yeah, here we go. And I quote, OMG, setting up this new Mac has been a grueling process, which should have been maybe 90 minutes of installing apps and verifying settings and permissions has turned into a 5-hour ordeal, and I'm still not done.
Or as you said it a few seconds ago, pain-free.
It was not pain-free. You're absolutely right. This was not a pain-free process. Once the dust settled, I'm like, wow, everything's working. Well, pretty much. I have a couple things to fix. But yes, as I'm reading what I wrote to you the other day, yes, it's all coming back to me. The things that my mind was blocking as a way to cope with the trauma. Thank you for opening that wound.
You're welcome. I am here for you.
Yeah. A lot of the problems that I was having in retrospect probably would have been less of an issue if I had unplugged the dying time machine drive. It was causing me a lot of problems. So the verifying settings and permissions, yeah, that is actually a really frustrating process, and it's amazing how quickly I went from this is horrible to wow, that's done, and that wasn't bad. No, it actually is bad.
Well, time does
every
that
single
too.
app.
I mean, we're
I had to give.
We're hardwired to forget the pain, and
that's true.
And sort of gloss over it. I mean, that's kind of the human existence.
Yeah, that is okay. So here's the thing. It's like every single app needed to have some permission in accessibility or in privacy and security set so that I could actually use whatever the stupid app was. And that was very frustrating that I don't want to say literally everything that I was doing. I had to stop, fix permissions in multiple places, and then relaunch the app and try again to see if I got everything. But it really felt that way. Yeah, that actually was a crappy thing.
Do you feel like your experience was possibly, I mean, like representative for other people? I mean, how much of what you went through do you think is going to apply to other people?
Except for my failing hard drive for Time Machine, all of it, because it's just how Mac OS works now. Apple has done so much to lock it down, and I get they're trying to make the operating system as secure as possible, but it was a real problem. Install an app and launch it. Okay, now you're off to settings so that you can give it access to whatever folders you need access to or whatever it is. It was just like every single app. There were more things that you had to set and reset, and that did get annoying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you regret doing it? Yeah. Like, do you regret getting the new machine and making this change?
I don't regret that. No. Today, I do not regret having the machine. Now that I've quoted what I wrote to you.
Yeah.
Earlier, and it's all come flooding back, and I just want to cry for a little while. Mm-hmm. As I was going through what I was doing, I kept thinking, why did I buy a new computer? I could have kept using the Intel Mac. It would have been okay.
That's funny, man. Yeah. I'm sorry for
this. So
funny. I know. I mean, thank you for entertaining me. With your pain.
I'm glad I can entertain you.
Yes.
Okay. So anyhow, I also told you about the problem with the Wacom tablet. And then before I realized my Time Machine drive was actually toast, and I will quote again, bonus, I'm pretty sure I need to reformat my Time Machine drive too. And then you reply, yikes, that sounds like a pile of not fun. And
I was just being polite, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Patronizing me sometimes, I'm fine with that. So then I replied, yep, but the stuff that wasn't a problem went crazy smooth. Even switching my backblaze back up to my new Mac was super easy.
Okay.
So the things that worked well, it really was like so simple that that I was worried that I had missed something and it was going to bite me later on.
You know, I remember back in the day, and I'm going back to late 90s, early 2000s, just being able to like pop the hard drive out of your old Mac and stick that hard drive into your new Mac and you're good to go. Do you remember those days?
I remember those days. Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I kind of don't, like, I mean, there were a lot of other problems that went along with that particular quote unquote convenience, but yeah.
I do remember those days. Yeah. Yeah. I remember buying a new PowerBook to replace my old PowerBook. And we would do the thing where we'd buy the lowest spec model we could, as long as it had a fast enough processor, because we were going to throw in cheaper RAM than what Apple would
you get
sell
the RAM,
us,
hard drive,
put
and everything for everybody else. Way cheaper.
Right. So I'd buy the computer, I'd have the RAM show up the same day, pop in my new RAM, take the drive that was much bigger than the one in my new computer out of my old laptop, put it in the new laptop, turn it on, and go to work.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times, man. Good times. Good.
Yeah.
Good times. All right. Well, congratulations on the new machine. Thank you for sharing your experience. Do you have any tips for other people who maybe because I mean, I would assume part of the issue was going from an Intel Mac to Apple Silicon even different show altogether.
Different show altogether. But hey, check me out on my OnlyFans.
If you had an OnlyFans, I would go subscribe just to make you uncomfortable. It shows support.
I appreciate that.
But knowing that I was at least possibly consuming the content that you were putting out, that would be very worth it to me.
I would make a video, and in it I would say, I call this doing the Bryan.
That's fantastic. All right, so do you have any advice for anybody?
Yes. My advice is, if you're going from Intel to Apple Silicon, do it the way I did, even though I bitched about all the settings and stuff. Move your data and settings over, and then install the latest version of whatever apps you need, so you can be certain you're getting the version that will run natively on Apple Silicon.
My advice is similar. It's to, whatever, don't worry about it. It'll probably be just fine. Now you should maybe value one of those sets of advice more than the other. I will leave that up to you to decide, because that's how I roll.
There you go. Yeah. The other advice is, even though it seems like the whole process should go fast, plan extra time, because you're going to run into something that doesn't go the way you expect.
Or
and in my case, it was applications that I know are Apple Silicon native that have some weird thing that I had to do a little bit of research to figure out how to fix.
Or don't worry about it. It'll probably work out just fine. Again, you can choose which advice you think has the most value, and we'll leave that to you.
Yeah. And I have a feeling we'll see if I confirm this like 6 months from now, that all the ports on the right side of my computer, as you look at it, I'll probably never touch.
Okay.
That Well, actually, I think there's a USB-C port over there. Okay, so I might touch that Thunderbolt USB-C port at some point, but that's where the SD card slot is. That's where the HDMI port lives. Everything else is on the left side, and I expect that I just probably won't be touching the right side ports. I'm bummed that they moved the headphone jack to the left side because for my setup, it's on the wrong side now.
Don't you have an audio interface?
No. Well, I have a really nice DAC. Is that what you're thinking of? I have the Shipmode E3 Plus.
I just assumed you had an audio interface somewhere because you could use that. You could use the audio jack on that.
I could, but no, I don't.
Huh. All right.
Yeah,
whatever.
You're a podcaster, it's a USB mic, so it's just plugged right in.
All right. Well, next, Jeff, we're going to continue to borrow on your adventures for this week's show, and I believe that you helped our friend John Kheit with some printer advice.
Spend a lot of money.
Spend a lot of money, yeah. And here you were telling me about this. He was looking for a laser printer, and he was looking for a laser printer that vastly exceeds anything he might need, but that's, more power to you, John. But here's the thing. Like, I feel like back in the day, certainly in the early days of the Mac Observer, we're going back 20 years plus or minus ago, there was a lot of attention spent on, like new emerging, printer technologies, who was doing what, who was doing the resolution, who was doing the speed, especially this was back in the inkjet days, because laser printers were still largely either, color laser printers in particular were pretty much a luxury item, a corporate item. Today, it could just be that I don't pay much attention to it, but I don't feel like there's as much information available for what is coming out in the world of, in particular, laser printers, and what we actually need as users. And, turns out something about this, and I thought you could share.
Well, I'm glad that I was able to show up, so you didn't have to prepare anything.
Yeah, well, must be Saturday for our Wednesday.
It must be recording.
Must be 45 minutes into our 30-minute show on a Saturday for our Wednesday show.
Right. Okay. So your perspective is totally reasonable. And that's because the whole printer market, I think now, is much more commoditized than it was back when you and I were following what was going on with printer technology, because there were so many things that were happening, and all of these companies were rushing to try and get ahead of their competition. And
can I add some color to that?
Sure. I mean, color printers, so color, yeah.
One of the exciting things 20 years ago was being able to print out your own photographs. Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not common to print photographs at all, ever. And most photo consumption
I want you to look at that wall in your house.
That's true, but I never would have hung. Okay, so he's talking about the fact that I've got two different walls full of glass prints, one of photographs, one of some NFT art. But I never would have posted on my wall. I never would have hung or framed on my wall a print of a photograph from a inkjet printer back in the day. So that's
a fair statement.
Apples and oranges, I think. Like, the vast majority of photo consumption today is being done on screens. It's being done on our mobile phones. It's being done on our iPads. And the vast majority of documents that are handled, even increasingly, even documents that get signed, are being signed on our devices and transmitted over the internet. So we don't there are fewer things that need to be printed. And I don't think I'm just projecting there. I know that there are some people that do need to still print things. I know there are some offices that need to print things for sure, but the overall demand for printers has decreased, and along with it, hype in the market. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Go ahead.
All right, and that's a fair statement. I think a lot of what's happened in the printer market, like over the last 20 years, is that the whole thing about looking at the numbers became a thing where you're just looking at the same numbers over and over, and when a printer company is telling you about their new 1200 DPI printer that does 22 pages a minute, or whatever it is, it's like, these are all the same numbers I'm seeing everywhere else.
Yeah.
So why should I even care? And printers, I think, like especially in the inkjet space, they become so commoditized. I mean, you can go into an office supply store and pick up a color inkjet printer for $50.
Yeah.
And take it home and plug it in, and they're practically disposable items.
Yeah. And you can pick up like an ink thing for a couple $100, but that's another issue.
Yeah. I mean, I do know people that when the ink in their inkjet printer runs out, they just buy a new inkjet printer because it's cheaper for whatever their needs are, which is absolutely crazy. But that shows you how commoditized these products have become.
Such a waste.
It's a horrible waste. But at the same time, for some people, if the money matters, you look at what you can do more affordably. Of course. And if it's, I can buy a new printer versus I can buy new ink for this printer, you could buy a new printer. So anyhow, what John wanted was to look at some of these laser printers, color laser printers, and pick the one that was going to work best for his needs. And so we started talking about resolutions.
Wait, why wasn't he concerned about my needs?
Well, I just assumed
that's
he was
so
acting
selfish.
as a proxy for you.
That's so selfish for him not to be considering what I need. All right. Anyway, go ahead. So whatever, he needs something, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, Brian, what it comes down to is you, Brian, are going to be buying a $10,000 printer.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Now I'm interested.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the questions that John asked me was, and I'm paraphrasing here, would you rather have a printer that does 1200 DPI by 2400 DPI and gives you okay color or good color, or one that does 600 DPI and gives you really great color?
I'd rather have the great color.
Same. Yeah. And
because I don't think we're even going to notice the difference in the 600 versus the 1200.
Okay. And that's actually a really interesting thing for you to say, because you didn't realize you were setting me up for one of the things that I wanted to talk about.
Well, I kind of thought I might be, but that is my honest opinion.
And so here's the deal. For me, the color, as long as the resolution is at a good quality level, the color is going to matter more to me, because you're looking at things like how is the color laid down, and if it's what you're used to seeing, just the traditional way that the cyan, magenta, yellow dots are overlaid, I mean, that's fine. But there's technologies now, like some of the things that HP is doing, where they're actually layering the way the dots are laid down. So instead of having that thing where you look with your magnifying glass and you can see all the dots like a comic book, it looks more like what you would have with an inkjet, where the colors can actually kind of bleed into each other, and you get a wider color range. And so a 600 DPI printer that does that, to me, is more useful than a 1200 DPI printer that gives me the color that looks like comic books.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the thing. But then at what point do you stop being able to really tell? And I'm generalizing here some, of course. At what point do you stop being able to tell the difference in the resolution?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And I would say, knowing that there are certain exceptions to this, but I would say 1200 DPI. When you go above that, you're not going to be able to tell.
But you're saying that we can tell between, or that, at least some eyes can tell between 600 and 1200.
Sure.
Okay.
But above 1200, except for like very specific situations, above 1200, you're just wasting your ink or your toner because you're not going to be able to see the difference. And for those of you that are saying, oh, but wait, what about this? And yes, there are situations where more or the higher resolution is what you want, but just as a good guideline, you can stop at 1200, and you're going to have a resolution that absolutely meet your needs, and it's going to look really, really good. I mean, I remember when professional print shops would print at 300 DPI, and people were blown away. And that was like professional printing that you're paying a lot of money for. 300 DPI was just amazing.
Right.
And I would say for some things, 300 DPI is still going to be fantastic. So yeah, my advice is when you're looking for the printer, don't worry about going above 1200 DPI, and then look at how the color technology is being used, and so my thing right now is, if I were to buy a brand new printer today, and actually I am in the market, I would be looking at something like for my needs, the HP Color LaserJet Pro M255. It's a 600 DPI printer, but it uses HP's ImageRet 3600 technology, which does that overlay thing with the colors. So you get these smoother colors and a much wider color range. And it can fit on a desk or on an end table or whatever, and crank out a ton of pages with color that looks good, and it's like a $400 printer.
I would
do everything I need.
Add, by the way, I helped my mom get a laser printer a couple of years ago, and we ended up getting the Costco one. In that the Costco usually only sells a couple of models, at least whenever I've looked, a couple of models of laser printers at a time. And generally speaking, they're part of the same series that they're usually HP, and they're going to be the same HP printers that are being made available elsewhere, but they've got a special model number that is specific to Costco, and they're usually just a little bit better priced. So
yeah, so check that out.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
All right, so Brian, inkjet or laser, which should you get
today? Wow. Laser probably. If you need a cheap printer, like if you need a printer and because you've got to print out like one thing a year, or, a couple of things a year, or your budget just isn't big, you have to go inkjet. If you don't have the budget, if you need to buy the least expensive printer you can have, you're going to have to go inkjet. But I feel like the laser printer is going to last longer and do a better job for the dollar per dollar than an inkjet will today.
Okay, so a laser printer is definitely cheaper per page than an inkjet printer, by quite a bit in most cases. So if you need to get the cheapest printer you possibly can because you need to print something today, you're picking up a cheapo $40-$50 inkjet printer.
Yeah.
And I would just assume it's disposable. So you did say something that I thought was really interesting. If you need to print a page or two a year, just go with an inkjet printer. Most cartridges for inkjet printers are designed so that they need to be used. So if you go more than
so hold on. By the way, you were quoting me not to emphasize what I was saying, not to endorse what I was saying, but to correct what I was saying. I just want to make because at first I thought you were actually endorsing what I was saying, and then I'm realizing that you're correcting me, and that's great. But I wanted to make that understood.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, here's the thing. If you let an inkjet printer sit for like 5 months, and that's like a really good baseline right there. 5 months, you have to replace the cartridges because they probably dried out. So if you're thinking buy an inkjet printer because I only need it once or twice a year, there is a possibility that each time you go to use that printer, you have to buy new cartridges for it. If it's only once or twice a year. Yeah.
So at that point, you should probably be looking at asking your friends one more time, or seeing about using the incredibly bad facilities at this point for printing stuff out yourself at FedEx, which used to be Kinko's, or UPS.
Yeah.
I mean, I am radically disappointed whenever I'm in either one of those stores in terms of like being able to use a computer to print something. They're not what they used to be. But if you only need to print something out once or twice a year, it's probably more worth the frustration to go do that than to buy something.
Yeah. I would just hit up a friend and say, can I print a couple pages on your printer?
Yeah. But not everybody can do that.
Yeah, it's true. So I'm glad that we do have options. Like you can go to a local print shop, you can go to FedEx or whatever, and
with a little bit of lead time, you can even have something printed and then shipped and mailed to you. I mean, that's also an incredible waste of resources, but probably better than buying a disposable printer that you're going to end up throwing away before you use it again.
Yeah. All right, here's another thing to keep in mind, Brian.
Okay.
What is the climate where you live? And this has been a problem for me over the years using inkjet printers in Colorado in an arid environment. So it'd be the same like in Arizona. Also, the altitude is a problem sometimes. But really, it's the dry climate that becomes a big issue. And inkjet printers, I have found just the cartridges don't last as long in a really dry climate. So keep that in mind. What that ultimately meant was that even though I don't need to print a lot, I print a few pages a month typically. And when I say a few, we're talking less than 20 pages a month.
But that's actually that's enough to have a printer.
That's enough. It's enough to have a printer
by a lot. I would think. I mean, even if you're just printing out a few pages every month, having a printer is probably worth it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're doing like 10 pages a month, you probably need to have a printer. Now, if you're doing 10 pages a month and it's an inkjet, you're not going to run into the problem. Most likely of it's 5 months in, you haven't really printed anything and your cartridges are dry. Right. You'll be using some of the ink in your cartridges.
Right.
But for me, it doesn't make sense to have an inkjet printer. I'm in a very dry climate. I'm printing a few pages a month. A laser printer with the toner cartridges and cost per page, all that. I can have the same toner cartridges in my printer for years without having to swap them out. And the printer just works. And I don't have to worry about cartridges running dry because the air is too dry here.
Sure.
So yeah, my old printer, the reason I don't have it anymore isn't because it stopped working. I had an HP color LaserJet 620N. It was like a little tank, color laser printer. The only reason I don't have it is because it's so old now that like it came out before AirPrint. So that tells you how old it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like 6 months before AirPrint, I buy this printer, and then AirPrint happens. I'm like, well, damn. But I got rid of it because the cost of ink or toner for that printer when it ran out last fall was substantially more than the cost of the value of the printer. And it was old enough. I thought, it's actually not worth it for me to put toner in this thing anymore. I might as well sell it to someone that can get a little bit of value out of it. So I sold it for $50 off it went. And ironically, because I couldn't get a laser printer at the time, like no one had them in stock. I ended up with a $50 Canon inkjet printer all in one thing so that I could print out the few pages I need every month. And now its cartridges are about shot. And so I guess I'm going to have to pony up and go ahead and get a laser printer because that's what I really want to have. And once I buy it, I'll spend like $400 and I won't have to spend any more money on that printer other than like electricity to run it for several years.
I'll get the Comcast one for Comcast. I'll get the Costco one for you and have it shipped to you if you want. Figure out if that's the one you want. Let me know.
Yeah, I need to know what model it is.
You can look on the
How about if we look on the Costco page? Because I think they have more of their products than Comcast does.
You can go to the Costco site and look without a membership.
All right.
You just won't see the member price. You'll have to ask me for the member price. But the member price is going to be cheaper than whatever price they're showing you.
All right. Well, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy to do that. I mean, obviously wouldn't be any inconvenience for me at all. I'm going to take 20% as a courtesy.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is
it's going to cost you more to do this through me because I'm your friend and I'm here. I got your back.
What I'm hearing is you want a discount on my OnlyFans page?
Yes. Yes, that's what I need. That is, that's, yes. Oh my God. If I was clever, I'd do that.
If only.
If only. That is this week's Context Machine. If you have any questions, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the show. You can write to us using contextmachine.io. You can hit us up on Post or Mastodon at Context Machine. Our bandwidth is provided by CashFly. If you have any questions, by the way, about printers, or if there's something about printers or computers that we've set off in your head from the show because maybe we didn't get to it, let us know. Right? The bass was recorded by Dr. Boom just for this show. It's all for this week. What do you say, Jeff?
I think that's plenty for this week.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Go check us out on our website, contextmachine.io.
I said that.
Oh.
So we got the stuff on there.
Oh, I wasn't even listening.